Hello everyone, Ed from Canva here, welcoming you back to the Canva tutorial. In this one, I'll be showing you how to create a simple design planner to help you organize your design project specifics, contents, and ideas to help you stay on track when designing. It could also save you a lot of time and brain power by reducing any indecisiveness you might have about colors, elements, and other details in your design. Let's jump into Canva and create a 3-page planner you can use for both your personal or professional design projects. So we're in Canva and we're ready to roll. First thing we're going to do is search for planner templates at the top here. So I'm just going to quickly open that, type in planner and tap through. From here, I'm going to select a blank planner. I'm after something simple, clean, and minimalist. So let's search for minimalist for now and see what comes up, or even minimal, sorry. So here are a few, right? We're just going to go through and quickly review a few of these and just see what catches our eye. And immediately a few have caught my eye. So I might actually go with this one here just because that grid is a nice little touch. I like how it's got like a workbook sort of feel to it. So here we have our template that we're going to work with. So a design planner is made up of a certain distinct criteria. You definitely want a section for the name of your design, the type of design and due date. If you need to stay on a certain timeline for yourself or a client is also great to have. The objective of the design is something that you would need to sort of have there as well, just so you stay on task and stay on the goal of what this design is trying to achieve. Any key points from the design brief or what your client has said, in case you're getting this from an external party, you're getting this design brief from an external party. Your personal notes regarding the design, any findings from research that you've performed, a checklist of features, items, or criteria that your design must have, any colors and fonts you might have decided on as well for this sort of design, and an area for you to paste any elements, pictures, videos, or GIFs from the Canva library or that you've uploaded yourself to be featured in the design. Those are just some of the criteria I personally find important when planning a design, but when creating your own, feel free to add anything which is important to you. Let's spend some time bringing all these pieces together and making some refinements to our design in the process. So what we're going to do, how we're going to start is we're going to start by creating a large heading for our design name. So this is already kind of set out for us here. So what I'm going to do is quickly adjust this to design name, and we're going to bold that. And over here, I'm just going to quickly ungroup this. Because you'll be using this personally, I don't think we need to include the name here. You can create a version which has your name in it in case you're sharing this design planner with external parties. But for now, for this example, I'm going to remove that. And what I might also do before I move or proceed ahead any further is I'm going to quickly turn down the transparency of this grid background just because I don't want it to become too overbearing. So I think 45 is good for now. It's just subtle enough to sort of notice, but also not obstructive or distracting from the main sort of contents of our design planner. So from here, we know there are a few headings and sections to follow, the ones I mentioned earlier. Let's begin by setting out our first page of this planner, beginning with adding some text boxes and sizing them all up. I'm going to move this for now, actually. I'm going to backspace these. I'm going to move this and put it in line with this margin over here. And I'm going to create a text box to place underneath it. I might just zoom in a tad so I have a better view of things. Perfect. And yep, I'm just going to place that there and sort of give myself, like, as you can see over there, like 1.5 boxes in between the heading and the text box. I think that's a good rule of thumb there to have. And I'm just going to size this up, probably that big. And over here, I'm going to have type of design, and I'm going to bold that. And I might actually come back and make this a tad bit darker just because we can't actually see the divide between the background and the text box. I want that text box to be noticeable. Maybe even a squeeze more. Yep, there we go. 60 looks good. From here, I'm also going to copy that and paste it over here in line with our other text. I'm just going to resize that, copy that. And what I'm doing obviously is clicking Command-C, Command-V to copy and paste, or if you're on Windows, Control-C, Control-V. And I'm just going to, yep, this is looking good. I'm just going to quickly put that there so it's in line with that square. And over here, I'm going to put due date. Perfect, so our first two headings are looking good. From here, I'm going to add that in there. Again, making the distance probably 1.5 boxes from that above it, just so it's in line with the others. Type of design, I'm going to change that to objective of the design. Just lengthen that text box there. And then I'm going to add our text box in there. That's looking good. And I'm going to make this as long as our margin over here. Great. Next heading is going to be the key points as mentioned. So key points from design brief or client. And again, I'm going to lengthen this text box. And then I'm going to add our text box over here. And I'm going to make that a little bit larger. Probably that big. Cool. From here, yet again, pasting that there. This section is for my notes. Just gonna remove that. And I'm just gonna move that up a little bit, just because it's not exactly in line with where we want it. Yep, it's good. My notes, probably that many lines, I'd say. Yep, great. And just making sure this is in line. Yep, looking good. And then over here, our last point, putting it into place. There we go. It's probably about there. And cool. That is looking good. So what I might do is actually give myself some more space. And how I'll do that is by reducing our 1.5 grid box gap just to 1 potentially. So that affords us some more room. So I'm going to move these up one by one. And this page is looking good. I'm just going to quickly add our last heading in there, key findings and inspiration from research. And I'm just going to spend a moment or two making sure all of our headings and boxes are in line with each other. So feel free to take a minute at the end of each page to do this yourself. And terrific, I'm happy with this page. Let's now move on to our second page. I'm going to quickly duplicate this. Perfect. So what we've done already is we've did the section for the name of our design, the type of design and due date, the objective of the design, the key points from the design brief or client, my notes, and a section for key findings from research. So now what we're up to in our contents is a checklist of features, items, or criteria your design must have, and any colors and fonts you may have decided on. So let's quickly populate this section here. So over here, I'm going to quickly change this heading to design planner. And I'm going to change this over here to checklist, not checklist, checklist. And I'm going to get rid of this section over here. And I'm going to make this longer. And probably potentially remove these 2 sections here. Oops. And resize this probably to be about that long. Potentially even longer. Okay, there we go. Cool. Over here, I'll probably change this to colors and fonts. And probably just resize this a touch. Yep, happy with that. And I'm going to do something special with this section. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this text box over here. And I'm going to create the basis for 4 color sort of swashes that will sort of house in this document here. So I'm going to copy this size, I quite like that size, and I'm going to put a bunch of these boxes side by side, and I'm going to group select these and potentially make them just a tad bit smaller, just so they fit, into our pre-existing margins. Perfect. I think this one needs some resizing too. Yeah. And that would mean that this one needs some resizing. Yep, perfect. So I'm going to quickly give these some different colors. So I might do a light blue here, just for example's sake, royal blue, and then this cobalt blue with this light gray over here. And this would be our example sort of color swatch for this design. These are the colors that we are deciding on in this design planner for the design that we're working on. A brand kit makes this process much easier, but sometimes you're working with clients who don't have Canva, you can't share the brand kit externally, so this kind of document would make that a lot easier. From here, we've got the colors, obviously, and now we want to add some fonts. So again, for example's sake, this would be our heading font. We'd place that there. We'd have a subheading font, and then we'd have a body text font. And we can neatly arrange that there too. I might quickly lock this so it doesn't move out of place while we select this, and just make this a tad bit bigger, and then group that obviously and center it, and that's looking good. So now we have a section here essentially which has our colors and the fonts that we're planning to use in the design in question. Up here we have a section for a checklist, and what we can do is we can get our subheading text, place it there, item 1. Let's go to our elements tab over here and find a sort of plain square which is unfilled, which you can use as kind of like a check square. I think this looks good. And what we're going to do is we're going to move that up here and place it there. I'm going to go for a black checkbox, and I'm liking that. I'm going to lock this again. And just for an example, we might let's do 4 items. And just to make sure that these are properly aligned, what we're going to do is we're going to select the boxes first, position, space evenly vertically, and then the text, position, and space evenly vertically. And these are looking right. So we've got item 1, item 2, item 3, and item 4. And just to give ourselves something to work with, let's find a tick element which we can house close by. Let's go for this free one, just in case the people that we're working with do not own Canva Pro. So let's go for a brighter green actually as well. There we go. And we can house these down here so that when we're ready to check off certain items on this checklist, we can just drag these into place. And we've got 4 ticks ready to go. So this checklist section is now looking complete. It's got some items there for us to check off. We can obviously add another column of items over there, or even make these smaller so we can fit more in one column. You've also got a section which has planned your colors and fonts. You've got your 4 colors there, which you can sort of summarize into 2 colors if you'd like, or even expand to more colors. You can resize these squares. You've also got a section here which plans out the fonts you're going to use for this design in question. And now for our third page, we're going to dedicate the entirety of our third page for placing elements and other objects which we're going to use in the design. So let's lock this first. Yep, it's locked. We're going to backspace or remove all those, and we're going to remove all these too. And unlock this, delete it, and then we're going to resize this. And this section is essentially just elements and other objects. And this slide is looking complete. It's quite a simple one. What we can do now is we can get like little bits of elements that we like, and we can start to, just using what's on the left here, for example, we can start to paste these in, even go to images and photos, and I guess we can start to paste these in for use later. We could even add some body text in and add some notes here, you know, it's however you'd like to use this slide. And this is looking great. So I think we're missing one final step in this, one final touch. And I think that comes down to adding some text boxes for us to use in these sections here. So I'm going to resize this text. I think 16 is a good size. And what we're going to do is we're going to add placeholder text into these sections. And I'm going to center that, and I'm going to make this text just a little bit different in shade from our heading text, just so there's a bit of distinction there. The type and format of the design here, I'm going to center this as well. Due date here. And then over here as well. Objective of the design goes here. In this key point section, key points or deliverables go here. And then for my notes about the intended channel, themes, composition, mood, or etc. go here. And let's resize that and just reposition again. Great. And then this last section of the first page, findings go here. This is looking good. And for Design Planner, this is pretty self-explanatory. Same as colors and fonts, and same as elements and other objects. And we're all finished. You now have a design planner you can use yourself to sell or adjust to be sent to your clients for them to brief you with. You can use this digitally or tweak it to make it print first in nature. The possibilities really are endless. One thing is for certain though, you now have a clear plan to build your designs from. If you like this tutorial, please let us know by dropping a like on this video. If you found any of the lessons here useful, we'd also love to hear in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Ed out.